and you ask the same question. Why ask again?
I'd like your answer.
Did you like it better yesterday?
A lot.
You can lift the stone without being ready for the snake that's revealed. The important thing isn't can you read music, it's can you hear it. Can you hear the music, Robert?
Yes, I can.
Greatest scientific mind of our time.
Of his time.
God doesn't play dice.
Mr. Strauss, there are things in my past you ought to be aware of.
Well, as chairman of the AEC, I have access to your security file. I've read it.
You're not worried.
No. Why would I be worried after everything you've done for your country?
Well, times change, Mr. Strauss.
Well, the purpose of this institute is to provide a haven for independent minds. That's you. You are the man for the job.
Well, then I'll consider it.
This is one of the most prestigious appointments in the country.
Yes, with a great commute. That's why I'm considering it.
Next door.
They put you in there.
I asked for it. Wanted to be close to you experimentalists.
Theory will get you only so far.
We're building a machine to accelerate electrons.
Magnificent.
Would you like to help?
Build it? Oh, no. No. But I am working on theories I'd like to test with it. A democratic republic being overthrown by fascist thugs. Who wouldn't?
Our government. They think that socialism is a bigger threat than fascism.
Not for long. Look at what the Nazis are doing to the Jews. I send funds to colleagues in Germany to emigrate. I have to do something. My own work is so abstract. There's some thinking ownership is theft.
Property.
Property?
Property, not ownership.
I'm sorry, I read it in the original German.
It's not about the book. It's about the ideas. And you sound uncommitted.
Well, I'm committed to thinking freely about how to improve our world. Why limit yourself to one dogma?
You're a physicist. You pick and choose rules? Or do you use the discipline to channel your energies into progress?
I like a little wiggle room. Do you always toe the party line?
You have everyone convinced you're more complicated than you actually are.
We're all simple souls, I guess.
I'm not.
Well, in this part, Vishnu reveals his multi-armed self.
No. Read the words.
And now I have become death. Destroyer of worlds.
You're thinking what I'm thinking.
You, me, and every other physicist around the world have seen the news.
What? What are we all thinking?
A bomb.
Told you, Robert, no more fucking flowers.
You say that and then you call.
Well, don't answer.
I'll always answer.
You have to know when you're beaten, Robert.
All of it. It's mostly empty space. Forces of attraction strong enough to convince us that matter is solid. Stop my body passing through yours. You should come. I meant with your husband.
Yes, you did.
I was lost, and he was kind.
Then welcome to the war. People hounded out of jobs for any hint of red. And then Robert didn't take care not to upset the power brokers in Washington. His opinions on the atom became definitive, and he wasn't always patient with us mere mortals.
Robert, you see beyond the world we live in. There is a price to be paid for that.
Be humble physicist. If I ever meet one, I'll let you know.
You're a dilettante, a womanizer, a suspected communist.
I'm a New Deal Democrat.
I said suspected. Unstable, theatrical, egotistical, neurotic.
Nothing good? No? Not even he's brilliant, but...
Well, brilliance is taken for granted in your circle, so no. No, the only person who had anything good to say was Richard Tolman. Tolman thinks you have integrity, but he also strikes me as a guy who knows more about science than people.
Yet here you are. You don't take much on trust.
I don't take anything on trust.
He's the most intuitive understanding of atomic structure I've ever seen.
You know his work.
I know him. We've got one hope.
Which is?
Anti-Semitism. Hitler called quantum physics Jewish science, said it right to Einstein's face. Our one hope is that Hitler is so blinded by hate that he's denied Heisenberg proper resources because it'll take vast resources.
Somebody with your past doesn't want to be seen downplaying the importance of security from our communist allies.
No.
You don't get to say no to me.
It's my job to say no to you when you're wrong.
So you have the job now?
I'm considering it.
I'm starting to see where you got your reputation. My favorite response: Oppenheimer couldn't run a hamburger stand.
I couldn't, but I can run the Manhattan Project. This is a national emergency. I've got some skeletons. They put me in charge. They need us.
Until they don't.
You drop a bomb and it falls on the just,
and the unjust.
I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon, but I know the Nazis can't.
Take off that ridiculous uniform. You're a scientist.
Well, there's not much common ground between you two.
That's where I should get his view.
What do you take it to mean?
Destroys the world.
So here we are, lost in your quantum world of probabilities and needing certainty.
Can you run the calculations yourself?
About the only thing you and I have in common is a disdain for mathematics. Who's working on this in Berkeley?
Hans Bethe.
Well, you'll get to the truth.
And if the truth is catastrophic,
Then you stop and you share your findings with the Nazis. So neither side destroys the world.
He mentioned that if anyone had anything they wanted to pass on, going around official channels, that he could help.
that would be treason.
Yes, of course. I just thought you should know.
You don't know scientists like I do, Counselor. They resent anyone who questions their judgment, especially if you're not one of them. As colleagues, we agreed to disagree on a great many things.
Why? Because we have every right.
You have just the rights that I give you. No more, no less.
We are adults trying to run a project here. This is ridiculous.
Compartmentalization is the protocol we agreed to.
Enough of this madhouse. Nobody can work under these conditions. You know what? Generalissimo, I quit. Thanks for nothing.
You didn't hire me despite my left-wing past. You hired me because of it, so you could control me.
No, I'm not that subtle. I'm just a humble soldier.
You're neither humble nor just a soldier. You studied engineering at MIT.
Guilty as charged.
Well, now we understand each other. Perhaps you can get me my security clearance so I can perform this miracle for you.
I was aware that there were suspicions about him. I was aware he had a very extreme liberal background.
In your opinion, would he ever consciously commit a disloyal act?
I would be amazed if he did.
So you had complete confidence in his integrity.
Share a few things that General Groves told me not to. Sorry, General, I said I understood, not that I agreed.
It's important you not maintain or renew any questionable associations.
Now that's power.
Not that I enjoy. I'd rather be here for you as you need.
But you have other priorities now.
But I can't see you again.
But what if I need you? You said you would always answer.
You sit there, day after day, letting them pick our lives to pieces.
Now, when the FBI pointed out that such information wouldn't be admissible in court, Pash made it clear he had no intention of leaving any witness left to prosecute. Now, the FBI talked him down, but that's the man you're dancing with. You're trying to protect your friend. Who's protecting you?
Oh, you could.
If you gave me the name.
If you order me to, I'll do it.
That's a mistake, Robert. You need to volunteer this name.
The power you're about to reveal will forever outlive the Nazis. And the world is not prepared.
You could lift the stone without being ready for the snake that's revealed.
We have to make the politicians understand this isn't a new weapon.
You don't get to commit the sin, and then have us all feel sorry for you that it had consequences. You pull yourself together. You know, people here depend on you.
Stay here. Research what you want. Fusion, the hydrogen bomb. Whatever. We'll meet to discuss.
You don't have time to meet. You're a politician now, Robert. You've left physics behind many, many years ago.
Once a week. 1 hour, you and me. Do you understand? If we build a hydrogen bomb, the Russians will have no choice but to build their own.
Could they be working on one already?
If we both speak, they listen to me.
When you speak, they hear a prophet. When Strauss speaks, they hear themselves.
They'll listen to a prophet.
A prophet can't be wrong. Not once.
They won't fear it until they understand it, and they won't understand it until they've used it. When the world learns the terrible secret of Los Alamos, our work here will ensure a peace mankind has never seen. A peace based on the kind of international cooperation. Just because we're building it doesn't mean we get to decide how it's used.
History will judge us, Robert. You're the great salesman of science. You can convince anyone of anything. Even yourself.
We intend to demonstrate it in the most unambiguous terms. Twice. Once to show the weapon's power, and a second to show that we can keep doing this until they surrender.
I've taken Kyoto off the list due to its cultural significance to the Japanese people. Also, my wife and I honeymooned there. Let me make this simple for you, gentlemen. According to my intelligence, which I cannot share with you, the Japanese people will not surrender, under any circumstances, short of a successful and total invasion of the home islands. The use of the atomic bomb on Japanese cities will save lives.
If we retain moral advantage,
How so?
Well, if we use this weapon without informing our allies, they'll see it as a threat, and we'll be in an arms race.
Secrecy won't stop the Soviets from becoming part of the atomic world.
What did Fermi mean by atmospheric ignition?
Well, we had a moment where it looked like the chain reaction from an atomic device might never stop. Setting fire to the atmosphere.
And what was Fermi still taking side bets on it? Are we saying there's a chance that when we push that button, we destroy the world?
Nothing in our research over 3 years supports that conclusion, except it's the most remote possibility.
How remote?
Chances are near zero.
Near zero.
What do you want from theory alone?
Zero would be nice.
The fact that we built this bomb does not give us any more right or responsibility to decide how it's used than anyone else.
The world will remember this day. It's too soon to determine what the results of the bombing are, but I'll bet the Japanese didn't like it. I'm so proud of what you have accomplished. I just wish we had it in time to use against the Germans.
How's it feel to be the most famous man in the world? Your invention let us bring our boys home.
Well, it was hardly my invention.
It was. You on the cover of Time.
Blood on my hands.
You think anyone in Hiroshima or Nagasaki gives a shit who built the bomb? They care who dropped it. I did. Don't let that crybaby back in here.
He knew his phone was tapped. It's followed everywhere. There's trash picked through, but never stopped speaking his mind.
Man of conviction.
And maybe he thought fame could actually protect him.
Nobody knows what you believe. Do you?
You sat here and let me tell you how it's done, but you've been far ahead all along.
Survival in Washington is about knowing how to get things done.
Why get caught holding the knife yourself?
You know, they're truly vindictive, patient as saints.
Strauss has been perfectly clear that he is neutral.
Didn't take any convincing.
Trial.
No trial. You can't give Oppenheimer a platform. You can't martyr him. Tell Oppenheimer his security clearance is not be renewed, but offer him the chance to appeal. No audience, no reporters, no burden of proof. We're not convicting, we're just denying. What is it you said? This is just how the game is played.
Well, forgive my naivete.
Amateurs seek the sun, get eaten. Power stays in the shadows.
But sir, you're out of the shadows now.
Yeah, that's why this has to work.
You let my client sit here and potentially perjure himself, and all this time, you had a recording?
Nobody told your client to misrepresent his former answers.
It was 12 years ago. Can we hear this recording?
You don't have the clearance, Mr. Garrison.
You're reading it into the record.
Please. Is this proceeding interested in entrapment or in truth? If it's truth, where's the disclosure? Where's the witness list?
Mr. Garrison, this isn't a trial, as you are well aware. Evidentiary rules do not apply. We are dealing with national security.
The purpose of this letter is to state...
I'm sorry, if I could have...
What is the purpose of the delay? He's simply going to read the letter.
Mr. Chairman, this is the first I've seen of this letter. And I see statements here, at least one, of a kind that I don't think anyone would like to see go into the record. These are accusations that have not previously been made, that are not part of the indictment from Nichols. Accusations of a kind that I don't think belong here.
The witness wrote this letter on his own initiative, laying out evidence that has already been before the board. His conclusions are valid testimony, just like the positive conclusions of friends of Dr. Oppenheimer. It cuts both ways.
How long has counsel been in possession of this letter?
I don't think I should be subject to cross-examination by you, Mr. Garrison.
Mr. Garrison, given that we on the board have all read the letter, wouldn't it be better to have it in the record?
The views I have to express are my own, but I believe that much I have to say will help to indicate why most of the scientists in this country would prefer to see Mr. Strauss completely out of government.
We're grown-ups. We've walked through fire together.
Will you describe your views on communism as pro, anti, neutral?
Very strongly against. I've had nothing to do with communism.
The record demonstrates that Oppenheimer was not interrogated by impartial and disinterested counsel for the Gray Board.
Did you have a Communist Party membership card?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Well,
I mean, presumably the act of joining the party required sending some money and receiving a card, no?
It's just it was all so very long ago, Mr. Robb, wasn't it?
Not really.
Long enough to have
Did
forgotten.
you return the card or rip it up?
The card whose existence I've forgotten?
Your Communist Party membership card.
Haven't the slightest idea.
Can a distinction be made between Soviet communism and communism?
Well, in the days when I was a member, I thought they were definitely two things.
Oh?
I thought that the Communist Party of the United States was concerned with our domestic problems. I now no longer believe this. Believe the whole thing's linked together and spread all over the world, and I have believed this since I left the party 16 years ago.
But
17 years ago. My mistake.
But you said...
Sorry, 18. 18 years ago.
Are you familiar with the fact your husband was making contributions to the Spanish Civil War as late as 1942?
I knew that Robert gave money from time to time.
Did you know this money was going into Communist Party channels?
Don't you mean through?
Pardon?
I think you mean through Communist Party channels, don't you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Then would it be fair to say that this meant that by 1942 your husband had not stopped having anything to do with the Communist Party? You don't have to answer that yes or no. You can answer that any way you wish.
I know that, thank you. It's your question. It's not properly phrased.
Do you understand what I'm getting at?
I do.
Then why don't you answer it that
Because
way?
I don't like your phrase, having anything to do with the Communist Party, because Robert never had anything to do with the Communist Party as such. I know he gave money to Spanish refugees. I know he took an intellectual interest in communist ideas.
There are two types of communists. Intellectual communists and your plain old regular commie.
Well, I couldn't answer that one.
Robert, you can't win this thing. It's a kangaroo court with a predetermined outcome. Why put yourself through more of it?
I have my reasons.
I left my country never to return. You served your country well. If this is the reward she offers you, then perhaps you should turn your back on her.
Damn it, I happen to love this country.
We're not in court, sir. There's no burden of proof.
Right, they're not convicting. Just denying. Why would Hill come here to tear me down? What's his angle?
Do people need a reason to do the right thing? As he sees it.
J. Robert Oppenheimer, the martyr. I gave him exactly what he wanted.
Did you think that if you let them tar and feather you, the world would forgive you? It won't.
We'll see.
Since nobody really knows what they said to each other that day, is it possible they didn't talk about you at all? Is it possible they spoke about something more important?
Just remember, it won't be for you. It will be for them.
Destroy the entire world?
I remember it well. What of it?
I believe we did.